Hello students, this is Mr. Sims, and today I present State Exam Multiple Choice Review number 6. We've got 2 more to go after this one. So we'll just go ahead. Actually, this one is significantly easier than the previous one, installment number 5, so we're going to find that this video might go a little bit quicker. Alright, number 1. Number 1 is probably, this is a very, very difficult problem because they're not asking you to actually do the operations. They're asking you what are you going to do first. So sometimes that's very, very difficult to explain. So first thing I would do is, if you consider that this operation is division, so this is really negative 1/2 divided by negative 41 over 15. Right? And something to consider is that don't even worry about the signs because we know that a negative times a negative equals a positive. So then it's really about what are you going to do with this. So if we keep flip this, so this becomes now 15 over 41. Well, the way this works is that we're really going to cross multiply and divide. So we would be multiplying by the 15 and then we would be dividing by the 41. And that's really how the operation works. So you would take and multiply by the negative 15, then divide by the 41. So the answer to this is B. All right, don't stress yourself out over this question if you don't quite understand. It's very, very high level. All right, number 2. What's the least number of deliveries he must make to reach his goal? All right, so he makes $9 per hour and $6 for each delivery he makes. He wants to earn more than $155 in an 8-hour workday. Okay, so there is one initial step that if you don't pay close attention, it's $9 an hour times an 8-hour workday, $72. So he makes $72 a day, plus $6 for each delivery he makes. So if we just let X equal deliveries, which we don't need to write an equation, so you don't really have to make a let statement in this case. It's just, okay, I need 6, and it has to be more than 155. So if we do a little backwards here, and let's say we subtract the $72 off of this, we get $83. So we'd have to then divide that by 6, and when we divide that by 6, we get 13.8 something, right? Which means that the least number would have to be 14. You'd have to make 14 deliveries. Number 3. Which inverse is best supported by the data? All right, so what we got is containers of potato salad at a deli. Each container is supposed to have a mass of 1 pound. Manager selected a random sample, and prepared by each employee to check the mass of each container. The results are shown in the table below. So if you look at Malika, and then you look at Adrian. So a couple of observations. Before I even start reading through these, I can say is, all right, well, they're in order, it looks like. So we got a 110. The highest is a 110. The lowest is a 0.95. And Adrian's is the highest is 1.3 and the lowest is 0.79. So one thing I can say about this is that, well, the range is a lot bigger here. Okay, so Adrian's not as accurate as, let's say, Malika is. So as I start reading my answers, I'm going to keep that in mind. So Malika will produce more containers with a mass exactly 1 pound than Adrian will. Well, that's not really conclusive. Let's see if we can find something better here. Adrian will produce more containers with a mass exactly 1 pound. Well, here's the thing. We can't really measure exact. So we're going to get rid of those two. Most of Malika's containers have a mass closer to 1 pound than most of Adrian's containers. Well, there's your answer. All right, moving on to number 4. Number 4, been a while. Combine like terms. Don't forget about the signs, though. 8 minus 3 is 5c, and 6 minus 2 is 4. Hopefully you're not watching this one because everyone's going to get that one right. All right, number 5, rhombus. All right, one thing we know about a rhombus, or one thing you may have forgotten about a rhombus, is that all sides are equal. So if this is S, this is S, this is S, this is S. And if we want to find the perimeter, that's 4 S's. All right. And then you start looking at your choices. A is the only one that really makes sense. All right, number 6, Sarah's playing a board game. Which statement the probability that she'll score on a point in the next turn? 1/3. Well, if you think about, here's 0, here's 1, here's a half. Okay? 1/3 is less than a half, so it would be unlikely to happen. If it's greater than a half, it would be likely. Number 7. $100 bill. All right, so talk about a realistic problem here. This is something that I mean, well, maybe we're now not all carrying $100 bills around, but Salid bought 35 feet of window trim, $175 per foot. So we take 35 feet times $1.75 per foot. I'm gonna guess this is a calculator question, so I'll save you a little bit of math here. Comes out to be $61.25. Right? But if you read, it says how much change. So the bill comes to $61.25. You give them a $100 bill, you should get $38.75 back. Excuse me. All right, number 8. This is probably the, if I'm remembering correctly, the most involved problem here. What's the height in inches after 3 weeks? All right. Notice that every time I'm reading that last sentence first. So I'm trying to model that strategy for you. All right, pile of newspapers. Miss McGrath's art class was 17 3/4 inches high. Okay, so you start there. Each consecutive week for the next 5 weeks, the height of the pile of newspapers increases by 8 7/12. What was the height in inches of the pile after 3 weeks? All right. Well, here's where this question can be very misleading if you don't read it carefully. All right, we don't really need the 5. We really need the 3. So it's 8 7/12 inches. So there's a couple of different ways you could do this. You could just multiply by 3. Okay. Or you say, now here, normally what you guys would try to do is try to get mad here. But watch this. I'm going to multiply these separately. So I'm going to, 3/8 would be 24. And then 3 7/12 would be 21/12. So we have a 7/12 plus a 7/12 plus a 7/12. Right, and this would reduce down to, looks like we can get 1, and it would be 9/12, okay, which becomes 25, because now you can add the 24 and the 1. Just give me a second here. Talking myself through this one. 9/12 reduces to 3 goes in here 3 times and here 4 times, so 3/4. Right? Now notice that's one of your choices. So this is once again where you have to finish the problem. It says, how high is it? It grew, or stack increased, that much. So now we need to add that to the original, 17 3/4. Right? So I can add 3/4 and 3/4 together. That's 1 1/2. 3/4 and 3/4. And then 17 plus 25 is 42. And then I add 42 plus 1 1/2 would be D. This is going to be a no calculator problem, so you're going to have to be able to do that. All right, number 9. What is the actual height in feet of the building? All right, so once again, we got these scale factor problems. Okay? So we got 1 inch equals 30 feet. The height is 1.25 inches. All right, now remember the strategy of getting rid of choices that don't make sense. Okay, I'm going to cross out A and B. Give you a second to think about why would I cross those two out. Hopefully, as you were thinking that if 1 inch is 30 feet, 1.25 inches has to be more than 30 feet. So I got rid of 2 choices that don't make sense. Now if I have to guess, guessing is way better. All right, a couple different ways we could do this. You can consider that multiply these two together and then divide. All right, so we take 30 feet times 1.25. This is a no calculator problem, so 0, 0, 0. Bring a 0 down, 5, carry 1, 7, carry nothing, and then 3, 0, 5, 7, 3. 2 decimal points there, 2 decimal points there. The answer is C. There's other ways you could have gotten to that answer too. Number 10. What is the value of the expression below? Once again, notice how we got 2 negative answers and 2 positive answers. So if we can just get the sign first. The other thing you're going to notice is that you've got fractions and you've got decimals mixed in. So whenever we have fractions and decimals mixed together, we want to either make them all decimals, all fractions. And because my answers are all in decimal form, I want them all decimals. Okay. Well, that's 3/4 is pretty easy. It's just 0.75. 2/5 might be a little bit more complicated, but think of it as in tenths. It's 4/10. So 4/10 is 0.4. Now, also in this is that double negative thing that you got to be careful of. So it's negative 0.75. This now becomes a plus 0.40 plus another 0.4 minus another 0.75. So if I combine my 2 negatives together, if I take 75 cents away and I take 75 cents more away, I now owe $1.50. All right, and if I put my 2 positives together, 0.4 plus 0.4 is 0.8. And now I'm going to combine those two. Right? So I know my answer is negative because $1.50 is more than 80 cents. So if I borrow $1.50 but only give you back 80 cents, I still owe you 70 cents. All right, two more. Number 11, simple interest. There is the I equals PRT formula. How much more money? All right, so we got Leanna and you got Marty. Okay. Now here's the formula, and if you don't remember the formula, we don't need to panic. We can still do it. All right, so 2.5%. So I'm going to say 2.5 over 100 equals x over 100. Huh, that made that really easy. It's just $2.50. But then we have to multiply it by 3 because it was 3 years. All right, 7.5, $7.50. All right, so now we got Marty. Marty is 2% of 100, which is just 2. And we multiply that by 3 because it's for 3 years, and he gets 6. So then 750 minus 6 is 150. Okay. Number 12. A lot of reading, but I'm going to circle one thing to determine how I'm going to answer this. Which inequality? More than 80 means it has to be greater than 80. If it's greater than 80, it can't be A, it can't be B. So then now I've eliminated 2 choices, and if I have to guess, I got a 50-50 shot. All right, so now, she's already biked 18 miles. Okay, and now she needs 6 more days to achieve her goal. So it'll be 6 miles plus that 18. That 18 gets added to the original amount. So, all right, so this is the conclusion of multiple choice review number 6, and this is Mr. Sims signing off.